Black businesses that charge astronomically high prices don't understand business. I mean, that's my opinion. They just don't understand business. They don't understand certain dynamics that I feel they need to or should understand. Because when you're dealing with a black owned business, usually you're dealing with customers who are also black or African American. And you have to understand the mindset of black people in this country or African Americans. You know, it's a deep dynamic. And as a black business owner, you have to become a psychologist of sort because African Americans are like this. And I'm using that term, for the sake of making a video so that we can understand. So I don't mean to offend you if you're Nubian or Moor or Asiatic, what have you, because this applies to you too, whether you know it or not, or want to accept it or not. African Americans generally purchase predicated upon economics. Number two, emotions. Okay. Very rarely do African Americans purchase things predicated upon what they really need. Okay. They're more so into buying what they want as compared to what they need. There's a saying that goes, black people buy what they want, but beg for what they need. And as I studied that over the years, I found it to be very true. If we want something like spinning rims, big hula hoop earrings, dookie braids in the hair, or what have you, we find the money and we spend it and we get what we want. And what we want may not be what we need. And then when it comes time to purchase things that we need, we have 100 million excuses. Well, my money's short. I get paid next week. Or, it's just always something. Man, $15 for a bottle of herbs, 100 capsules. But gee, you spent $50 on one Viagra tablet or pill. You didn't say anything. You just bought it because you wanted it. It's funny, but that's real. If you were to open up a vegan restaurant in the black community and you charge $7 for a veggie burger, it's safe to say that that business would be out of business in 3 to 6 months' time because it just wouldn't be able to compete with McDonald's or Burger King or Jack in the Box. It just wouldn't be able to compete. And if the business owner didn't have enough sense to lower the prices of the burger sold at the black facility, the black fast food facility, or even just a black restaurant, he would be in trouble. He or she would be in trouble. If a Big Mac costs $1.99 and you have this black restaurant across the street from McDonald's, and we ain't even talking about a vegan restaurant, we're talking about just a cow beef burger hamburger joint, and that burger's going for $4 or $5, you can't compete with McDonald's. Your prices are too high. You would have to bring your prices down to match that of McDonald's or Burger King or whatever else, whatever other fast food joint is in the community. You would have to bring your prices down to be equal, whereas your burger is $1.99. Or if you're like me, you got to have the cheapest prices. So the burger would have to be $1.95 or $1.80. Would have to be, because business in the Western world, it's competitive. In order to be competitive, you have to have business savvy, business sense. You must have business acumen. You must be sharp when it comes to business. So if you don't have that, then you're really, you're really taking an unreasonable risk being in business if you don't take these dynamics into consideration. Okay, understand how black people are. They're going to spend money on things that are cheap. That's just how they do. They're not so much into quality. They're into price. It's price over quality. Okay. Now, if you really wanted to kick behind, I don't care if it's a white-owned establishment, a commercial establishment, it doesn't matter. If you really want to kick behind, then you have to borrow from Frank Lucas. You would have to produce a superior product and let it go for almost next to nothing. Now, a lot of people won't do that. Man, Djehuty, you know how much it costs to make this? Man, I can't let it go for that price. Well, see, a cat like me will come on the scene and then you'd be out of business. You'd be out of business. Because to me, it makes business sense to provide the best for less. You're going to have more customers, more loyal customers, and you're going to have guaranteed income, guaranteed profit. And profit is the lifeblood of business, okay? Profit is the lifeblood of business. Oh, just like the blood goes through our veins, well, in business, that's profit, the flow of profit. It's the life of a business. So when you're not smart and you're not securing profit, then it's like you're causing circulation problems in your body. And circulation problems, not fixed over time, can become a problem. They can become fatal. And applied to a business, when we deal with fatality, that means that your business has closed down and it's your fault. Man, black people don't support black businesses. Well, they have their reasons. Now, this particular video is dealing with high prices. And there are other videos that deals with customer service and sales, and there's some other things. But pertaining to the high prices, it's not wise to be dealing with high prices with a people who are used to saving money, okay, purchasing things for cheaper prices. It's not wise. It's not wise at all. Now, if you're not going to educate, then you need to start selling the same thing that Walmart and other establishments in the community are selling, and sell them at the same price as Walmart. So there's competition. You give people the choice. Okay, if they're closer to your facility, they don't have to go to Walmart because, you know, at Walmart the thing they're going to get is $14.95, and at your facility is $14.95. It's the same product, same price. And what would be even better is if your price was cheaper, even if it was by a nickel or a dime. If Walmart is letting something go for $14.95 and you let it go for $14.85 or $14.75, you get to say that your prices are cheaper than Walmart's. And the people would come and patronize your business. You have to be smart. And this is not limited to African Americans. You know, you're seeing this with a lot of the bookstores, a lot of the metaphysical bookstores owned by Caucasian people. Here in Los Angeles, we just lost the Djehuty Tree, our #1 metaphysical bookstore that was in the community for, and when I say the community, I'm talking about the Los Angeles community, not so much the hood. But we had it for 40 years, and the building that it was in was purchased by some real estate people, and now the Djehuty Tree is gone. Okay, I think they're going to try to relocate someplace else, but it'll never be the same. And the owners admitted that they couldn't deal with, you know, the cheaper prices from eBay and Amazon.com. And I got in the mix a little bit too late. You know what I'm saying? It's because when I found out, I was like, oh man, I'm going to save the Djehuty Tree. You know what I'm saying? We're going to have to take this deferred money and purchase the Djehuty Tree. Okay, but it wasn't meant to be because the real estate people had already purchased it. They purchased the property. At first, it was like $7 million. Then a group of conscious people raised $7 million to keep it there, and then the real estate people doubled it, $14 million, and the conscious people just couldn't meet that, and so real estate wins out over something, you know, pertaining to consciousness, health, and all that good stuff that the Djehuty Tree sold. You know, I mean, the worldly people be kicking the spiritual people in the backside. I mean, it's like, you know how they say, like, the good guy always loses and the bad guy gets the girl? It's like that with the material and the spiritual. And it's the spiritual people's fault because they don't know how to do business. They just really don't. It's because they like, well, we're spiritual and you're worldly. And so, you know, it's this distance. And I'm this unique cat where it's like, okay, I'm with you guys on the spiritual side here too, but at the same time, I understand the importance of the material, and I've learned that material mentality so I can deal with that mentality. That's how I've been very successful over the years in business, and I've never went to business school. It's certain things, number one, that just made sense to me, and it just stood out. It was like a no-brainer. And then, you study certain military tactics, you study how the successful people in and of the world do business, and you take what you can use. You take what you can use because it doesn't cause harm to anyone. It's smart. It's business. You take that and you use that, and then you apply that spiritual principle and you come up with something unique. Okay, because then you have something that these people don't have because they don't care about spirituality. You see, and so you're having a lot of people who they got crystal shops. They got hemp product shops. They got health stores, a whole bunch of things, and they just don't ball. They just don't ball. They just don't have the necessary knowledge to take their business to the next level. And I just found out years ago that I have Leo in the 10th house, which is the house of career, the house of business. And when I study my natal chart and I look at my part of fortune and I match that up with my Leo in the 10th house, Placidus orb or Placidus orb, it all makes sense. I'm a very controversial person because of how I do business. It's like it's natural to me. It's like a no-brainer. Give the best for less. It's that simple. Give the best for less. Man, it costs a lot of money to make this stuff, man. We can't do it. See, your block, you haven't worked on yourself, so you're missing. You haven't tapped into universal law, so, you feel that you're losing. You don't understand abundance. It's greed and fear, and you will not be successful in business, not in this new age. You won't. You will not. You have to embrace abundance. You have to embrace affluence. You have to embrace wealth. There's enough to go around. So even if you have the best and you let it go for less, you're going to generate money. Now, there's going to be more work, but you shouldn't be afraid of hard work or more work. So you're going to do more work, but at the end of the day, you're going to have more profits. Okay? So you got a product that sells for $200 and is not selling. It's going to collect cobwebs and it's going to create energetic stagnation. I'll take that same product for $200 that's not selling and I'll cut the price down to $150 because I'll tell you this. $150 or generating $150 in a sale is better than generating zero in a sale. You got a product on the shelf, 200, product on the shelf for 150. I need that product to move because I understand energy, circulation. So if I got a product at $200 and it's not moving, Djehuty Mara is going to cut the price down to $150. And if it doesn't move at $150, I'm going to let it go down to $125. If it doesn't move at $125, I'm going to bring it down to $100, okay? Now, this is not to say that I'm not going to look into why it's not selling, because it may not be selling because I'm not advertising. I'm not marketing the product, okay? Now, if you market a product, but the price is too high, and the people are going to let you know, then you're going to have to lower your prices. Now, if you become a hell of a marketer, and it's not going to matter what the price is. If you know how to sell, people are going to purchase that product. Okay, that's a business fact right there. Marketing, advertising is key. You have to know how to sell things. And I didn't realize that I had the gift of a salesmanship until I went back and studied how I used to sell Final Call newspapers. I used to sell 100 newspapers within 1 hour in Los Angeles on the West Coast, which was a challenge. If you knew anything about the Nation of Islam back in the 90s out here in Los Angeles, it was a challenge selling Final Call newspaper because the people on the West Coast were not as conscious as people on the East Coast. So back in New Jersey, D.C., Baltimore, Philadelphia, they had no problem selling the Final Call newspaper. But on the West Coast, we had problems, and I just had the knack. I was just good with people. If you just come from here, and if there's a genuineness behind your words, you're going to make that sale. You have to extend a part of yourself in selling. And this is trip. And yes, people, I am working on an ebook with my business philosophy elucidated in that ebook. because a lot of things just came easy for me. You know, most of the times your air signs make the best salespeople. You know, I'm a Taurus. You know, Taurus really doesn't stand out as a salesman. Taurus mostly stands out as managers, bosses, and things like that. But this whole salesmanship thing just came naturally to me, you know, because I always had it in here. And so when it clicked, I'm like, you know what? I made all my sales because I would speak to people. Whereas the other brothers would just sell a final call newspaper, Muhammad side or suicide, get your final call. And if people wasn't interested in talking to you, you just walked on. And when people didn't want to purchase a final call from me, I would still talk to them. And after giving people 5, 10, 15, 30 minutes, I ended up making that sale. And then one day it just clicked. If I invest in people from here and wisdom, understanding, and knowledge, if I'm giving people something of substance, they're going to purchase what I'm selling. And you know what? That's true even if you're not selling anything. I mean, I have sold so many things over the years when I was not even trying to sell. It's like I became a master salesman without trying. So, you know, I applied Bruce Lee concept of Jeet Kune Do, not only to law, but also to sales. And I have a philosophy today that I phrased the art of selling without trying to sell. I just talk to people. People say, Djehuty, you know, I got fungus problem, I got yeast, what have you. And I'm just spitting, right? Because I started off, I didn't have products, but I had knowledge. And so I would spit the knowledge. And then people would always follow up or come behind me after the knowledge I diffused to them and ask me, where can I get it? And I was like, oh, go to Simply Wholesome, go to Whole Foods, go. And they would go and get it. But it got to the point where people started saying, Djehuty, how come you don't sell products? I would buy it from you. I trust you. But I don't have anything to sell. But I kept studying, researching, investigating. Boom. I discovered my niche, which was in herbs. And then I was using these hands to make products. Boom. My companies just shot off the ground like that because I was going the extra mile to educate. So when I created those 700 articles, I was dropping information about the products, which saved a person like me and others a lot of time because after you read my article, you knew what to purchase. I helped to remove your fears. I helped to eradicate doubts. I helped remove a lot of blocks that prevented people from purchasing. So I realized that the more information you freely give, and especially if it's good information, and if you can edutain, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. So you see now on YouTube, you have the D Health Store YouTube channel that has a lot of videos. And just like with my articles, I'll give you the information, but I also talk about a product. I also talk about a product because I am in business, okay? I do have products for the people. I am in the United States, whereby we sell things. We sell information, we sell product. Well, information is a product now in the information age, and we sell services. So I would be remiss to drop information in a video and not highlight a particular product that, you know, coincides with the information I gave in a video. So if I'm doing a video about yeast, I would be remiss to not talk about a product that I made specifically for yeast infection. It's like it's a no-brainer, at least from a business perspective. And then you have certain people, man, Djehuty, man, he's trying to sell something. I'm in America. I'm in business. I'm a businessman. What am I supposed to be doing? Am I supposed to do business the black way? I don't want to do business the black way because the black way of doing business doesn't make sense to me. I'm the type of person with all this creativity. I'm going to take that creativity and make it manifest in the form of a product, something that somebody can purchase and take and get some results from and have their life changed positively. I'm not like a lot of these black men who condemn me, a lot of these Afrocentric cats who are pissed off at me because of my style, I can't do business like them. I don't see the wisdom in selling incense on a street corner and selling cheap synthetic fragrances and making a few dollars, $20, 30, 50, and the next day I'm working on the plantation. I can't live my life like I can't be in the hood from 5, 6, 7 p.m. hanging out talking about white people on the street corner, and then I go home, go to sleep, wake up, and go to my corporate job, and I'm taking orders from white people. I'm faking the funk. I'm smiling and, I'm jigaboo dancing and stuff. I can't live like that. And a lot of people who condemn me are people who, they say stuff like this, like, Djehuty, man, he's just trying to sell something, right? I'm in business for myself. And then these same people who condemn me work for white people. But the irony is they hate white people. They talk about white people. The white man, the blue-eyed devil, the white man is wicked, the white man this, the white man. But you work for them. That's hypocrisy. I can't live like that. Now, if I didn't like white people, I would have problems being the type of person that I am working for white people. If I don't like you, I'm going to have problems working for you. I don't understand how so many black people can hate white people, but at the same time be dependent upon white people. That's living a dual life, a double life. By day, you John Williams. How you doing, sir? Yes, sir. Yes. Yeah, thank you for calling Pontius. How can I assist you? Yes, can I get your account number? And then you get off work, and then you put on your dashiki and your African garb, and you go hang out in the hood, and then it's, motherfucker, black man, the black man is God. See the white man, see the white man, see, he's a thief, man. See, he doesn't make anything to rich. He has to steal from the black man. Man, I can't live like that. So they would just have to talk about me because I have to be free. And I'm not free by selling drugs. I'm not free by pimping women. I'm not free by scheming and scamming. I am doing what this country allows people to do. And that is to go into business for yourself. It's not illegal what I'm doing, and I'm free to do me, it keeps me free. It allows me to do my higher life purpose, my mission through the vehicle of business. You know what I'm saying? I mean, so it gets no better than that for a person like me. I understand my part of fortune and what I'm supposed to be doing business-wise. So yeah, I'm spiritual and I gravitate towards, the spiritual way of life. But I no longer neglect the mundane or the material. So I've infused the two worlds together so I get to be spiritual and I get to make it in the mundane material realm. So, I don't starve. I have a house. I have an apartment. I have a few offices. I have a few cars. I have things that, most people desire to have. Most people have, and most people desire to have these things, but I have them on my terms, my own terms, and I don't have to fake the funk. So, I can say whatever I want to say, and I don't have to worry about if I'm going to be fired, because I'm my boss. I put the butter on my toast. So that gives me a level of confidence. Whereas when I was in corporate America, I wasn't always free to talk like this. So it only made sense to me to be free in order to express myself in organic fashion. Because when I express myself in organic fashion, people vibe with that. Okay, they jive with that. And if I put a product in my hand, it's a wrap. And it's not that I have any old product in my hand, but I got some good stuff in my hand. And I'm gonna give you some good information. And here's the key thing. The key thing is when you consume it, you get benefit from it and it changes your life. So you can see a product being sold, but I see helping people to change their lives. Excuse the English. I see people being able to change their life or their lives. That's what I meant to say, not lives, but lives. That Mars and Gemini my lips have to catch up with my mind and move so fast. But I'm selling something that changed people's lives. It can change your life as an individual. That's what I see being sold. So it only makes sense to me to do what I'm doing. And on top of that, knowing that I'm putting together the best products, but then also letting them go. I'm selling them at low prices. I am giving you the best for less. Now, some people condemn me because I use Frank Lucas as an analogy for my business practices. Now, Frank Lucas sold drugs, and I don't promote that. But what I do acknowledge is how that man took over the drug market by putting out a superior grade of drugs that he sold for astronomically low prices that allowed people who want to get high and off some good stuff. I mean, almost near pure stuff. Okay, now don't get, now again, I'm not into the whole drug thing. It's just an analogy. The man made available the best for less and made hundreds of millions of dollars. Some say billions. I don't know. But I do know he saturated New York City, and then he ended up saturating the East Coast. And then it got to the point where he was behind a lot of drugs over the entire nation. So I say to myself, that's something I would do, not selling drugs, but that's something I would do pertaining to whatever it is I'm selling. The best for less. Well, that dude sold drugs. He created some serious bad karma, and he did a horrible thing to his people. And I know the people wanted to get high, and they was gonna get the dope from somewhere. And I understand how people think. Well, Djehuty, if they don't get it from me, they can get it from somewhere, and that is true. So, hey, if there's a demand and you can supply, you're gonna make money, whether you want to or not. That's just how it goes. That's just how it goes. Okay. So if this dude got blue magic, then I'm gonna come up with green magic. I'm gonna have the best herbs, and I'm gonna let them go for less. And I've been doing that since 1999. And I shot to the top, man. I mean, I was dealing with millions of dollars, man. I mean, millions. I was able to do radio ads with Kathy Hughes in Radio 1 that cost over $100,000. Radio promotions for $16,000, $20,000, $25,000. Michael Bazin cost $70,000. And where'd that money come from? It came from green magic, it came from plants, it came from herbs. And a lot of people out there selling herbs, but the one thing that was missing, and this is not gloating, this is none of that. It's making a point for you, the listening audience, especially you black people out there who say, Djehuty, make more videos about business. I'm saying this for you. The one thing was missing. I was so sharp on my whole business game. I was sharp there. I didn't go to business school, but I studied. I studied corporate law, business law, marketing, advertising. I just went to the bookstores and purchased the books, and I just studied. And then other people's words constituted the building blocks for me to come up with my own thoughts, my own opinions, my own views. And being in business for myself, I was able to apply it. It wasn't shot down. I didn't have to get approval from anybody. So I was able to just do things and work it and get a result. Now, in most cases, Midas touch. And in some cases, there was no Midas touch. That's just how it is. Okay? But I would say 90% of the times, it was a hit. 10% of the times, it didn't flourish. Okay? It went down the toilet. But that's how it is. give and take. Negative and positive. You win some, you lose some. But I was free to do it, and I got results. I was free to think of things, to create. And I had my own money, I could create it. And because I knew so much, I didn't have to hire marketing firms, PR firms. It was, see, the dynamic was, I was the spokesperson for my own product. And even though I made effective products, I became an effective spokesperson. And like I said earlier, I always extended myself, information. I was selling stuff when I wasn't even trying to sell stuff. I was talking to people so much. People were like, well, Djehuty, you should make it then. Hook it up. You should make it. I'll buy it from you. And when you hear that so much, and Taurus, we're slow. We get things slow. But at some point, it go bloop. You're right. I do it good. I heard it from enough people. I got clients out there waiting for me. Have product, will sell. Period. Period. It's really like a no-brainer. A no-brainer. And I've met people who went to business school, went to college, and let me tell you, it was like the worst experience dealing with these people because college makes you so linear. And if you don't have the smarts to study on your own after you graduate, you're gonna be screwed. You're gonna, you know what? You're gonna go to school for business, and you're gonna end up working for someone else. Period. I mean, that's just how it goes in most cases. If you don't take your worldly school-based knowledge and couple it with some personal acquired knowledge, you're screwed, man. And I met so many people. I met entrepreneurs. I met people who work for other people. They were all linear. All linear. And then, I would go to certain meetings and then I would talk and, and it's just because my work in money houses are in fire signs, okay? I have Sagittarius in the second house, Aries in the sixth house, Leo in the 10th house. So I'm fiery when I speak. So when I would go to these meetings and I would talk about, selling and how to market and mixing spirituality with the mundane or materiality, I was just flowing. So it was like my words became a product because people started saying, hey, man, listen, we will pay you an honorarium if you speak to these students here. We will pay you for speaking. Then it just clicked. I'm like, wow, my words are a product now. My words are a product. And I didn't ask for that. That's just how it is in this society. Now, some people fight it. Some people fight. A lot of the Afrocentrics fight it. So they're starving. They hate white people, but they work for white people. They're miserable. And, they just don't get anywhere. They don't shine. And it's their fault because they don't understand it. They don't understand business. They're into bartering. I mean, come on, you're in a capitalist society. Now, it's cool to have certain people you can barter with, but the bartering system, as we have in Africa, is not coming here to America. It's not even coming to the black community because the black community is not unified. And that's just being real. So why invest in bartering? Bartering should be an exception to the rule. You need to, if you're going to try to switch to bartering, at least master the way we do business in the Western world. But a lot of blacks think that, if you do business how white people do it, then you like white people. Or you're trying to be white. That's the most stupid stuff. It's like, Asians get it. Hispanics get it. Whites get it. Everybody gets it. Even the continental Africans get it. But African Americans just don't get it. And then we wonder why we're at the bottom of the totem pole, or the business or economic ladder here in the United States. It's crazy. You know what I'm saying? African Americans are 95% consumers, 5% manufacturers. What statement is being made? If you're constantly spending, you're a consumer, you're not creating. And businesses don't just consume. Businesses produce that which is consumed. And since we're not producing that which is consumed, we really don't know much about business, generally speaking. Generally speaking, because there have been some black titans. One of the persons I look up to as far as business is A.G. Gaston. And he has a book, and I won't get it, but it's in my library. It's called Black Titan. Okay, and it's about A.G. Gaston, one of the first black millionaires. And I read his whole book in like 2 or 3 days, and everything this man did, I'm like, that's what I would have done. This was a smart black man. This man knew that black men worked. They worked at the mines. They got paid, and they lived for the weekend. A.G. Gaston recognized that. These black men would pick up their women and go out on the town and spend all their money that they worked for in 2 weeks. Whether it was a week or 2 weeks, whenever they got paid, they would blow that money playing billiards, going to the pool hall, going to the nightclub, buying their women's stuff. A.G. Gaston knew that. And he recognized when the work week started again on Monday, these cats were broke. They couldn't even purchase lunch. So A.G. Gaston set up like this lunch trailer, right? And he started extending credit to these men at, a small, fair interest rate. This dude made a fortune. He recognized that these people were going to do what they were going to do on the weekend. You can't stop them. Black people are still like that. This dude was smart. They wasted their money on the weekends on frivolous things. And then when it came time for important things like, lunch, clothes and taking care of the children, They were broke. So A.G. Gaston was loaning money at interest and made a fortune. A.G. Gaston recognized that when blacks died, right, in the early part of the 20th century, in the 1900s, that the burial of dead black people was pretty much left to the church. And the church was a struggling institution back then. See, the reverends got smart. See, a lot of Afrocentric people, you can talk about the reverends, they did get smart. I don't care what you say, were they pimping the people and doing this and that. Those reverends don't have guns to these people's head. And if the reverends start teaching the truth about ancient Kemet, how Christianity has its origins in Africa from ancient Kemet, these people are going to come to an empty church the next Sunday if they start teaching that stuff there. Okay, because these people want to spend that money, and the reverend is smart. I spoke to a reverend 2 or 3 years ago, and he told me we was in a meeting at a hotel near downtown LA. He came out here because his granddaughter had died, and we met him, myself and some friends. We met him, and the dude was deep as hell. I mean, he was deep. He knew the metaphysics of the Bible. He knew Gnostic Christianity, but he told us, he said, "Man, I cannot teach this to my congregation. I can't. I want to, but I can't. Because if I do, I'll come to an empty church the following Sunday. Because they will go out and look for a reverend to keep telling the fairy tale." A Christian reverend told me this. So all Christian reverends are not these thieves and these robbers that we've made them out to be. A lot of these cats know some stuff, but they're smart. They're smart. They know that these people are going to go someplace else. So they give these people what they want, and from time to time they throw in some nuggets because the people can't handle it, you know. So, you know, like my guy said, he's like, you know, from time to time I'll break down a parable so people can apply to their lives. But you see, in most people's eyes, this is a reverend talking, in most people's eyes, they don't want to go in and do the inner work, because this reverend knew that the Bible was metaphysical. It pertained to the human body. Everything that took place in the Bible took place in the body. He couldn't teach it. I mean, he did the best he could do, and I was just blown away. Like, you know what? Like, that's some wild stuff. And I feel for you, man, having that truth, you know, because I can never be a reverend and know what I know and not drop it. That's why, you know, D Health Store YouTube channel, I just boom and just put. I can't hold on to anything. It's too good, and I don't have the patience. You know what I'm saying? So I would piss a lot of people off. And my church, if I had a church, it would be empty the next Sunday because I'm just gonna tell it how I know it. Okay, almost Eric Easy E. Wright style. I'm just going to tell it how I know it. And you better hope I don't show it. But that's just me. But I understood this, Reverend, and I felt for him like, wow, you better than me, man, because I can't be sitting up here faking the funk. You know, I got to tell it how I know it, and if you can't hang with it, you can't handle it, then it's just tough luck on you, because I'm not about to be up here sitting on this truth here, and people are suffering. And you know what I'm saying? I'm going to at least give it to the people who want it. You know, so I'm going to let the people make a choice. So just like the people who come to D Health Store YouTube channel, they can handle the content. And for those who can't handle the content, they can keep stepping. They can miss me with all their comments, their adverse comments. You can miss me with that crap. I ain't tripping on it. I stay focused on the people who can vibe with the information. You know, so that cat there was just mind-boggling. It changed my whole perspective on reference. I'm like, you know what? All these cats really don't believe in the scriptures from a fairy tale perspective. They know the metaphysics. Cat knew it came up out of Africa, ancient Kemet. You know, knew the first church came up out of Ethiopia. You know, was familiar with Brother Ashwa Kwesi's work. Was familiar with Dr. Ben. It's like, dude, how do you're good. I couldn't withhold that information from the people. I just couldn't. I'd rather have 10 people and express the truth and feel good, knowing that I'm earning my money someplace else, than to be dependent upon the people, having this truth, and have to drop them like, you know, little tidbits every here and there. I couldn't do it. He could. He's a better man than me. And he claims, you know, Christianity. But, you know, I'm not afraid to say if the next man is better than me, regardless of what his religious persuasion is. He's better than me because he can do something that I can't do. And Malcolm X says something to the same effect, that if a man could do something that he couldn't do, he's a better man than Malcolm. You know, so, you know, real men ain't got no problem saying that the next man is better than them, because that man can do something that we can't do. Okay? So I was talking about the Reverend predicated upon A.G. Gaston and the whole funeral thing, because the church was responsible for burying dead people, and the church had to collect money. A.G. Gaston pretty much created what you started seeing in the 50s and 60s and 70s, where people were going door to door selling life insurance policies. You got to read the book Black Titan by A.G. Gaston. I can give you some other titles too. Don't do me a favor, people. Ask your question at Djehuty at dhealthstore.com, because you guys are flooding the dhealthstore at yahoo.com. Okay, I need to say that, and I respect the people. I'm happy. The whole dhealthstore.com staff is happy that we're getting all these inquiries from people, but the dhealthstore Yahoo is just flooded. So start using the Ask Djehuty. Okay, we're thankful. Keep the inquiries coming. I know people want knowledge and information, and that's what we're here for. But we are flooded day in and day out. Okay, and I'm going to take the time in this video to ask you guys to give us 24 to 48 hours for a response, because it's no joke, man. I mean, sitting in the Health Store has been up, for what, 6 months. And now it's right back again how I had at the former site, where it's a job now where you got people, including myself, sitting behind a computer going from question to question to question to question to question. It's work. It's a job. So spare us and start asking the inquiries at Ask Djehuty at dhealthstore.com on the website in the upper right-hand corner. Go there and say, Djehuty, I watched the video on black businesses, high prices, and you mentioned some books about successful blacks in business or black entrepreneurs, and I would like some of those titles. And I'll send you those titles. And one of them is going to be Black Titan. I have a whole collection of successful black, because that's who I study. If you want to be successful, you have to study successful people. Okay? Now, I just happen to be African American, and I'm in business, so I study African Americans who are successful in business. Okay? I'm going to study a Kathy Hughes. I'm going to study Khalid Abdul Muhammad's son, Farrah Gray. Now, a lot of people are mad at Khalid Abdul Muhammad's son because he changed his name, because his real name is Farrakhan. And I'm sorry, Farrah Gray, if I'm getting you in trouble, because that's not my purpose. I respect what you're doing, and I understand why you had to distance yourself from the Nation of Islam and your father. So, if you watch Khalid Abdul Muhammad videos back in the 90s, you saw little Farrakhan Khalid, boom, always giving the black fist sign. He was always at his father's lecture. When you saw Khalid on stage with Steve Coakley, little Farrakhan was always in the audience, black fist sign. And then he just disappeared. And people didn't know that the little brother became an entrepreneur. And he came out of nowhere. And he changed his name from Farrakhan to Farrah Gray. And I got his books in the collection as well with these successful black entrepreneurs. And I'm going to tell you something. The cat was a teen, man, and became a millionaire. And I'm not going to say he did something his father couldn't do, because he gives props to his father. But he recognized certain things that kept his father on poverty consciousness mode. Because when Brother Khalid died, the information I got was that there was an offering of money. There was a collection. A collection had to be taken in order to get the brother buried. I understand that Erykah Badu donated a few $1,000s, for the burial. And I'm not saying that it's fact, but I'm just saying that's what just, got back to me. And I know how we do it in the community. When we don't have money, we have to raise the money. I had aunties who died, and I remember my uncles going door to door to raise money. Well, A.G. Gaston, he knew that back in the day, and he made a business out of it. I mean, the dude was smart. I understand my brothers and sisters. They're on the Kemetic tip, the Nubian tip. I love them. I understand everything they're about, totally. However, pertaining to the business thing, you are greatly flawed. You can do more for your people with more money. Now, I can understand if you don't want to be in Hollywood, playing a coon or a jigaboo, because I would never be caught doing stuff like that. I can understand you not want to make your money doing things hurting your people. But to be adverse to generating money by doing what's in your heart and doing things that are helpful to people, I don't understand how you can have a problem with that, okay? And how you can have a problem with doing it on a large scale so that you can generate so much money that you can make an impact. As a herbalist, I made an impact like no other African-American herbalist in the United States. And you know how I did that? I did it using my business sense. I developed a profound business acumen, and I worked it. the money was the power. The money was the power. I mean, the money, I was flown into DC. I was flown in to Radio 1 events in DC. I was flown in to the One Love Gospel Cruise. I was a herbalist, but I was treated just like the luminaries of the gospel world. You know, so when I went on Kathy Hughes' One Love Gospel Cruise, I was VIP, and I was a herbalist. Who are you, man? What do you do? I'm a herbalist. Oh, wow. You know, so I was with, Hezekiah Walker. I was with Yolanda Adams. I was with Shirley Caesar. I was with all these people who I grew up listening to their music on the radio on Sunday mornings when my parents would wake up and groove to the gospel music. And I remember I remember the album covers of, Shirley Caesar and some of the like the Clark sisters. My parents had that gospel collection there, The only one that stood out was Shirley Caesar. And just, being in that room, that cabin where there was Kathy Hughes, there was Shirley Caesar, there was Yolanda Adams, there was, what's my guy name? Donnie McClurkin. Donnie McClurkin, all these cats. And these cats had hit songs out, a few years ago. And we were just all in this room, right, on this ship. And you could just feel all that energy of heavyweights and everything, And I was in there as a herbalist, and I just sit back. I said, man, this is wild. This is crazy, man. I'm a herbalist. Now, I'm not really there because I'm a herbalist. I'm there because of what I had up here. And even though it's like I never went to school, I never went the route of many of those people, but I was on equal footing. And in certain respects, I was above and beyond because of the knowledge that I possessed, especially in the area of health. So I say that, what I just said too, to let you know the power of knowledge. Nothing can stop you if you believe in yourself, okay? But I was able to do a lot of those things because of the money, man. The money was key. I could burn 70,000 with Michael Bazin. I could burn 40,000 with the Monique Show, even though the profit was zero. It was like I wasn't even on the radio when I advertised during the Monique Show when she had her show. But in business, you take risks like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm spending 40,000 on commercial advertisement, and I never worked a corporate job where I made $40,000 in 1 year, but I'm doing business where there's 40,000 being spent for 2 or 3 weeks. It's crazy. The mind is so unlimited. There's just no telling what you can do when you trust in and use the power of your mind. And there are people out there. You got Wally Jolly. You got to read about this dude's story. He's the guy who made the famous Amos cookie. No, I'm sorry. That's Wally Amos. You got to read about Wally Amos, who created the famous Amos cookie, his story. You got to read about, what's my guy name? Oprah's dude, Stedman Graham. Great book. You got to read about the cat he wrote a book called Reginald Lewis. Why should white guys have all the fun? I can go down the list, man. And you got to read these books. If you are African American, hell, you don't even have to be African American. You can just be a person who's interested in just becoming an entrepreneur. Because I don't think you should discriminate. I think you should read Donald Trump. You should read Robert T. Kiyosaki. But at the same time, you should read Reginald Lewis. Okay, you should read Stedman Graham. You should read Wally Jolly. There are the successful blacks out there, just like there are the successful Asians and the successful Caucasians. Success is success, and study successful people. So I didn't have to go to business school. Like right now, like I'm so busy right now that I have to reject consultations and I have to reject the lectures because it's just, the linear time is just not there. But I have to reject lecturing to people who have degrees, who've gone to business school, but at the same time want to take their businesses to the next level. Now, this is not to say I'm not going to come out of, or come off of hiatus and talk to these people. I just can't do it right now. But the point is, I am in demand, predicated upon what I've learned. And I'm not someone who's just talking. I'm just not someone who talks. I have the results. I got that whole radio advertisement thing mastered. I've done it. Money is, let me tell you something, and then I'll end this video. I'll do my best to end this video. My partners and I, we took advantage of the latest economic recession in this country because the first departments that were cut, as far as major corporations were concerned, were the marketing and the advertisement departments. Their budgets got cut first. And when that happened, the radio stations were hurt. That's why you hear so much about, the car commercials, fast food commercials. You hear about all these major corporations' products via commercials on the radio. But when the economy went sour, right, thanks to Bush, who put the blame on Obama. Obama inherited, he inherited what Bush created, because Bush started that. That's what they do. Because, rich people make money off of recessions. People go down, but rich people go up. J.R. Ewing style. That's another cat I studied too. You gotta go back and watch the old episodes of Dallas. I'm like Mr. Miyagi in The Karate Kid. I could teach you business in a way that is so unorthodox. You'd be like, what the hell, man? Watch Dallas? Watch, Meet Joe Black? Or what? Yes. Because that's how I learned. Through movies and through books. Reading on my own. Not sitting in some classroom taking notes, listen to some guy who's teaching about business, and he's probably not even an entrepreneur himself. Can't do that. Okay? So going back to what I